Picture this. You're going through one of the most challenging times of your life. The voices of your critics are deafening, and it seems that everything conspires against you. Yet in the midst of this chaos, a truth emerges so powerful that it transforms your perspective and rekindles your faith. God has prepared a table for you in the presence of your enemies. Do you realize what this means? It is not just any promise, nor a phrase to comfort you in the storm. It is a declaration of power, a confirmation that you are destined for greatness, that you are special, unique, chosen. Now I want you to take a moment to reflect. What brought you here? That feeling that something bigger is happening in your life, that inner spark that tells you you're destined for something extraordinary. Well, know that you are not here by chance. If you are listening to this message, it is because there is a divine purpose at work in your life. And today we will unravel this together. Before continuing, I want to invite you to join this community of chosen ones. This channel is a space where we explore deep truths, where we remind you of who you are and all that you can become. Click on the sign up button and come be part of this journey. Turn on notifications, because every word we share here is designed to transform your mind, strengthen your spirit, and prepare you for the glorious destiny that awaits you. If this message is already resonating in your heart, give it a like to confirm your commitment to this new stage. Now back to that powerful image, a table prepared for you in the presence of your enemies. This is more than a metaphor. It is a declaration of victory, of provision, of divine justice. It is proof that even if the world tries to bring you down, God has already decided to lift you up. Isn't that reason enough to walk with your head held high, knowing that no matter how many hardships you face, your ending is assured? Let me tell you something. The presence of enemies in your life is not a sign of failure. Quite the contrary. It is a sign that you are moving forward, that you are being seen, that your light is so strong that those who live in darkness cannot ignore it. And here's the key. They have no control over their fate. You are the one who has it. In other words, God does, and He never fails to keep His promises. Today I challenge you to listen to this message with an open heart. We'll talk about what it means to be chosen, about how this prepared table is evidence of your purpose, and about how you can live with the assurance that no matter what happens, victory is already yours. Don't walk away, because what comes next can change your life forever. Are you ready? What you're about to hear isn't for everyone. It is for you who know in the depths of your being that you were made for great things. Let's begin. The table God has prepared for you is not just any table. It is a symbol of honor, a reminder that even when obstacles arise and criticism surrounds you, your destiny is guaranteed by a higher force. Why is this image so significant? In ancient times, sitting at the table was much more than an act of eating. It was an act of communion, of celebration, of victory. A prepared table meant that the host recognized you as someone worthy, special, deserving of a place of honor. Now think about it. God, the creator of all that exists, is inviting you to His table. And it is not just any table, but one placed before the gaze of those who doubted you, those who underestimated you, who tried to stop or destroy you. It is not a table hidden in intimacy, away from the eyes of the world. It is a strategically placed table where every enemy, every detractor can see how exalted you are, how blessed you are, how everything they have tried to use against you turns into a stepping stone to your victory. This is not only an act of divine justice, but also a lesson. It's God's way of showing you that you don't need to take revenge on those who have wronged you. You don't have to fight against those who slandered or belittled you, because as long as you keep walking, trusting, persevering, God is acting in silence. He's organizing everything in your favor, turning what seemed impossible into a living testimony of His power in your life. A perfect example of this truth is in the life of David, the man who wrote these words in Psalm 23, "You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies." David knew what it was like to face opposition. He knew what it was like to be persecuted, humiliated, and misunderstood. But he also knew what it was to trust God completely. When the prophet Samuel was sent to anoint the next king of Israel, no one expected it to be David. His own father didn't even present him as an option. However, God chose him. Why? Because while others looked at the outward appearance, God looked at the heart. And what happened next? David faced immense challenges. He fought Goliath, was persecuted by King Saul, and faced numerous battles. But at every stage, God was with him. And not only was he at his side, but he also exalted him, placed him in places of honor, and prospered him before those who despised him. That same promise is for you, because if there's one thing David's story teaches us, it's that being chosen doesn't mean life will be easy. It means that despite the trials, victory is assured. I want you to think about your own life. How many times have you felt invisible, ignored, or even rejected? Maybe at work, in your family, or among your friends. Maybe you've felt that your efforts aren't recognized, that your dreams are too big for someone like you. But let me tell you something. What God has prepared for you is greater than any obstacle you face. He not only sees you, but has already chosen you. Chosen not because you are perfect, but because in your imperfections, God sees a purpose, a potential, a light that the world needs. And that's why enemies appear, because when you're on the right path, when you're advancing towards your destination, there will be resistance. There always is. But this resistance is not a sign that you should give up. It's a sign that you're on the right track, that your life is making a difference, that you're destined for something big. And here's the beauty of that promise. No matter how many enemies surround you, no matter how many times they try to stop you, the table is already set. His victory is already assured. Now, it is not just a matter of acknowledging that God has prepared this table, but of accepting the invitation. Because even though the table is set, it's up to you to sit down, take your place, claim what's yours. This means walking in faith, even when circumstances seem to say otherwise. It means believing in the promise, even when doubts try to invade your mind. In the end, what determines whether you live as a chosen one is not the absence of problems, but the certainty that God is with you every step of the way. Let's continue exploring this truth and what it means to you. But first, I want you to do something. Reflect on where you are today and ask yourself if you're ready to take your place at this table. Because what comes next is even more powerful. The table that God has prepared is not only a symbol of honor, but also of abundance and provision. When the Bible speaks of a prepared table, it presents us with a scenario of divine generosity, of meticulous care for every detail. It is not just any table, it's a masterpiece, designed exclusively for you, with everything you need to thrive and flourish. But there's something even deeper you need to understand. This table not only feeds your body, but also your soul, your spirit, and your purpose. In the presence of his enemies. This table has a dual purpose. On the one hand, it is a feast that celebrates who you are and where you are going. On the other, it is a reminder to those who have doubted you, who have tried to extinguish your light, that you are not dependent on circumstances or human opinions. You depend on God, and he never fails. It is a public declaration that no matter how difficult your path has been, he will always lead you to victory. But here's the challenge. Accepting that table requires unwavering faith. Because when you're surrounded by enemies, problems, criticism, and seeming failures, it's easy to fall into fear, insecurity, the feeling that maybe you don't deserve what God is doing for you. It is at this moment that you must remember that the table is not prepared because you are perfect, but because you are loved. Not because you've done everything right, but because God has already decided that your life has an eternal purpose. Let's think about another biblical example. Consider the life of Joseph, the son of Jacob. From a young age, Joseph had dreams of greatness, visions of a bright future that God placed in his heart. But his brothers hated him for it. They betrayed him, sold him into slavery, and for years Joseph lived as if those dreams were a cruel illusion. Yet every step of his journey, every injustice, every betrayal brought him closer to the table God was preparing for him. In the end, not only was Joseph exalted as the second in command in Egypt, but he was also privileged to save his family and an entire nation. And he did it in front of the same brothers who tried to destroy him. Do you see how God acts? What seemed to be the end for Joseph was actually the beginning of his purpose. This is how the table that God prepares works. It not only blesses you, but also blesses others through you. This table is a platform to influence, lead, love, and transform lives. It's a reminder that your enemies don't have the final word. That belongs to God. Now, bringing this into your life, maybe you've had times when you've been betrayed, belittled, or when doors seem to close one after another. Maybe you felt that your dreams were too big, impossible. But let me tell you something. Every step of your journey, even the most painful ones, is bringing you closer to that table. Every tear, every sleepless night, every internal struggle has a purpose. Because when you finally sit down, it won't just be to celebrate your personal victory, but to inspire others, to be a light in a world that needs it so much. And here's something important. Not everyone will be happy with their table. Some will look on with envy, resentment, or unbelief. But that shouldn't stop you, because the table was not prepared for them, has been prepared for you. It's not about winning their approval or proving anything to anyone. It is about living in the purpose that God has for you, of walking in the fullness of your calling, of being a reflection of divine glory in the midst of adversity. Moreover, this table is a reminder that God's provision is not limited to the material. Yes, He can bless you with resources, opportunities, and everything you need to make your dreams come true. But He also provides you with peace in the midst of the storm, joy in the midst of pain, strength when you feel you can't go on anymore. This table is much more than a physical feast. It's a place where you find rest, renewal, and purpose. Let me be clear. Sitting at this table requires courage, not because you need to earn it, but because you need to believe that you are worthy of it. You have to leave behind the voices that say that you are not enough, that you do not deserve this blessing, that your past defines you. These are lies from those who don't want to see you move forward. But the truth is this: if God has set the table, it is because you are already worthy, because He has made you worthy. And here's the most beautiful part. This table isn't just for a moment in your life. It's not a one-time experience. It is a continuous promise. Whenever you face challenges, whenever you feel that the world is against you, remember the table is there. It does not disappear. It is a constant in your life, a reminder that God never abandons you, that He is always with you and always works on your behalf. Now ask yourself this question. Are you ready to take your place at this table? Because if it is, the next step is vital. It's time to understand how this table can transform not only your life, but also the lives of those around you. As we come to the end of this moment, I want you to close your eyes for a moment and visualize this table prepared for you. It is not just any table. It is a banquet of abundance, peace, joy, and victory. It is the place that God has designed especially for you. And now is the time to claim it, but you won't do it alone. Let's invoke God's presence together so that He may guide, strengthen, and inspire us to occupy this place with confidence and gratitude. If you're ready, bow your head and pray with me. Beloved God, thank you for your faithfulness, your infinite love, and your constant care. Thank you for preparing a table for me in the presence of my enemies, for reminding me that I am chosen, loved, and destined for something great. Today, I stand before you with a heart full of faith, willing to walk in the purpose you have prepared for me. Help me to keep my gaze on you, to trust in your promises, and to live with courage, knowing that my victory is already assured in your name. Renew my spirit, strengthen my faith, and guide me in every step I take. In Jesus' mighty name, amen. Now I want you to take action. Leave a comment with Amen as a symbol of your commitment to this message and to the divine purpose that is at work in your life. Each Amen is a statement of faith, an affirmation that you believe in what God is doing and what He will yet do. If this message touched your heart, if you felt this flame of transformation, I invite you to subscribe to the channel. This is a place for the chosen, for those who seek answers, strength, and a deeper sense of purpose. Click the subscribe button and turn on notifications, because every message we share here is meant to strengthen your spirit and remind you that you're not alone on this path. Remember, This is not just a community, it is a family of chosen ones, of people committed to their faith and the purpose that God has placed in their lives. You are not here by chance. Today is the day to take a step forward, to take your place at this table and walk with the certainty that the best is yet to come. Thank you for accompanying us on this journey. May God bless you and keep you. See you in the next message.